Oh my bloody goodness. I'm back again, but I'm not 100%, y'all. I'm glad you guys that will be here have decided to join me for another episode of King Shit Talk. We have a wonderful, beautiful, magnificent, intelligent guest that will be um here with me. She goes by the name of Goddess Zuri. And I apologize in advance because I have a bit of a cold. And so my voice isn't what it usually is. And I know some of you, whoever's watching, those that will watch on my YouTube channel is probably going to say, if I have a cold, why am I about to spark this cigar? But it has been a long day, a somewhat stressful day. So I'm gonna spark my cigar. I'm not gonna have my glass of wine tonight though. I'm gonna drink ginger ale instead. But yeah, like I was saying, I'm gonna have Goddess Zuri is gonna be here. She's 1/3 of the magnificent podcast Vulnerably Naked, which she can share all of that once she comes on. But we'll be talking about whether or not marriage holds any weight nowadays. And before I bring her up, I will say this. This is strictly my opinion. This I think I say this a lot when I'm doing these talks, and it's because I always get someone that will come up and say, "Oh, well, you can't speak for everybody," or "Oh, well, who made you a guru of A, B, or C?" I'm not saying that anything that I ever say is exactly how things should be or whatnot, but these are just my opinions. This is just the way I feel about certain things. But I'm gonna bring Goddess Zuri up now so that I can get this cigar sparked right. She can tell you guys a little bit about herself in about 3 seconds. She'll be on. Hey, hey, hey. How you doing?
I am real. I am real.
That's awesome. I mean, yeah, I got a little doggone bug hit me up from somewhere, but I mean, thankfully, it's only affecting, my throat and how I talk or whatever, and it's a little sore, but other than that, I feel okay.
I heard last night, I was like, hold on, something wrong with sleep.
Yeah. And I'm super tired, so like I was telling them, I'm not gonna have my glass of wine with my ice tonight, but I have a small little ginger ale, and those that are on my YouTube channel, they can see how small this glass is. Not glass, this can. It's actually only 7.5 ounces. It's the little baby can. I can swallow it down in about 2 swallows, but I'm gonna try to just sip it so it will last. And
well, I got my midday for you. I got you.
Oh yeah, so you straight, you sip it up good then. And now I will say too, before we really dig into this, that being that I'm only at like 70%, I will say that in the event that the time goes all the way down with us giving our takes on the topic tonight or whatever, if I guess after the time runs out, if I might give it 3.5 seconds. If nobody else wants to chime in after that, then we'll just bounce until next week. But before I repeat about the topic and basically what I wanted to get into by even having this topic, I want to first give you the floor to introduce yourself and tell them some things that you have going on and what you're a part of.
Okay, well, my name is Goddess Zuri, and I'm one of the Vulnerably Naked Queens. We also have a podcast on wisdom also. We talk about, pretty much we set this safe space for people to be vulnerable. And we ask in-depth questions, things that you don't really, that seem superficial, but as we dive into it, we uncover all the different layers. So I'm a part of that team. There's two other young ladies that work with me, Love and Jay Kylie, that we complete that podcast. I also do reviews on food. I do reviews on places. I garden. So what I do on my Instagram page is I show tidbits and little videos and things of that nature of how to just living life with Goddess Zuri. So that's what I do. So just follow me on there. Follow me on Wisdom, and you'll just see little bits and pieces of my life. Like I'm at a point in my life where I want to. Everything I do needs to satisfy or fulfill me in some type of way. So that's where I am right now.
That's what's up, and you say that's a little bit of what you do. Like that's just a little something. That's a doggone whole lot right there. That's a lot of good stuff right there. But what I say, let me answer this on YouTube. But the topic, what we're going to be getting into, is does marriage hold any weight anymore? And the reason that I came up with that topic for tonight is because I've been seeing personally a lot of we probably all see situations with relationships on a daily basis, whether good or bad. But as far as marriages go, I started thinking about how I viewed marriage when I was younger, when I was growing up. And the images that I saw was, of course, my parents, and then I'd see, my uncles and aunts and, my friends. It just seemed like when I was growing up, there was a lot more married couples, and I don't know what was going on behind closed doors, but just from just from what I saw, it looked like a positive union. It looked like it was respected. It looked like it was revered. I'm sure that there were a lot of side chicks and side dudes and stuff still back in those days, but they definitely
social media.
Yeah, they definitely weren't as bold as they seem to be now. And so that's the reason why I said, does marriage even hold any weight anymore? Meaning, do people even respect marriage? Do we, by our actions, show that we respect marriage? What do you think about that, guys?
I think social media plays a big role in the way that marriages holds now. Back then, they were still creeping around, had side pieces, side chicks. That's why they're rolling what is it called? The daddy thing.
Papa was a Rolling Stone.
Yeah. Out of nowhere.
Yeah, that's right.
So they were living pretty much how we're living now, but right now it's just more publicized. Mm-hmm. And probably about the only difference I see is that, like you said, you saw married couples out, they was more respectful. I can say that now, I guess the respect is not as prominent as it used to be back in the day. That's pretty much, I think, the only difference. But I think right now I think people still hold weight to it. I think they really do. I'm going to disclose this, and like you said, I even thought about that, what you said a while ago about always saying this is my opinion, because I was getting to the point everybody say it now, and it's like driving me insane, but I'm gonna do it. This is my opinion. I am not everybody. Everybody's situation and dynamics are different, but I've been married, and I count everything. I count from the day we started dating to now. Mm-hmm. We were married 19, going on 20 years.
Good gracious! Hand clap.
Look, 19 going on 20 years. But even in that respect, I think that when people used to say, oh, we've been married for 30, 40, 50 years, it was, like you said, a hand clap.
Yeah.
But you didn't realize all the stuff that's going on, or they were miserable.
Yeah.
Or they was unfulfilled. So it was like, are you really living life to the fullest? Just because you've been with that person for umpteen number of years? I think the only difference now is that people saying, hey, life is too short. Yeah, let me cut my losses.
Yeah.
Let me move on. The season done ran its course. And I'm gonna go and I'm gonna do me and find better for something that fulfills me at that point in my life. I think that's the only difference now.
Yeah. Okay. You remember how the saying used to be, the grass isn't always green on the other side. I think a huge part on how we ended up where we are is because people aren't really caring about the grass being that damn green. If it's any color opposite of where they are, they're like, okay, I'll try it out. It's like there's no, yeah, anything is better than what I'm dealing with at this very moment. Because I think the feeling of, for better or for worse, the long term, the mindset behind it was, I feel like, and I've spoken to some people that are older than I am and that are married, and they said when their mindset when they went into their marriages was, this is it. There was no, if this doesn't work, there was no plan B. So as time went on, I think we fell under this umbrella of, okay, well, if we'll give it our best go, but if it doesn't work out, I can still go to lane B, C, and D over here, and then we can still be quote unquote friends. And if there are kids there, well, if we're great co-parents, then we don't have to be married. And there became this plethora of avenues to jump into if the marriage didn't work out. And I think that in time caused the seriousness of marriage to die down.
Mm-hmm. But you know what, Lee? I'm going to say this. I don't think, and like I said, this is just my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think people really go into marriage going, if this don't work, I always got this on the side. I always can do this. I really think people, and I could be naive, I really think people go into marriage thinking, this gonna be my forever person. We gonna do this. And then when you get in it and you see what all it entails, what all it encompasses, all the sacrifices and the ups and downs and ins and outs, you're like, whoa, it's I don't think nothing prepares you for everything that is entailed in a marriage. Nothing. Because it's so much that goes into it. And some people have a short patience with things, and some people have a long patience with things. It just depends on the person. Everybody is different. I've also seen where, like you said, you see those happy couples, and oh my God, they're just the best couple ever. I think they just, oh my goodness, and they be the one to break up.
Yeah, you're right. And I'm gonna have maybe if I wasn't under the weather, I would probably choose not to say what I'm about to say. But being that I'm kind of sick, I'm not thinking clearly. So I'm gonna say this. This is a transparent moment. And it made me think about it when you said that you believe most people don't go into it with that idea. They go into it like, this is my forever person. I can say this with a certainty of truthfulness. Okay. 95, I'll say about 95% of the relationships that I've ever been in my life, I knew when it started that it wasn't going to last but a certain amount of time. And
they was all
that's
marriages? They were all marriages?
I'm talking about marriages, relationships, anything. Okay. And it's because, and I'm not proud of that. It's because the majority of the relationships that I got into in the past, most of them, not all of them, but a good amount of them, I didn't get into it with the idea of, okay, I love this person. I didn't get into it with the idea of I want to build something, long term and positive with this person. I went into it with the idea of I like this person. Let's see where it goes. Simple and plain.
Let's see where it goes.
So,
okay. I mean,
and so.
Did you specify that to the other individual?
Oh yeah, but you know how that goes. A lot of times you can. It seems like in my case, I'll speak for me personally, and this is not present day stuff. This is past stuff. The more truth that I would tell, the more that they wouldn't believe me. Like the more upfront I could be, totally upfront, and hypothetically speaking, I could say, "Oh, you look real good. Let's exchange numbers. Let's go out sometime. But in about 2 weeks, I'm gonna kick you to the curb and find me somebody else." And they would laugh. They would laugh and be like, "Boy, you crazy," and continue to talk to me. So it's like those were the type situations I would get into. And then when it turns out to be exactly what you said, then they're mad at you. Then they're upset. Oh, how could you do this to me? Yeah, how could you do this to me? And da 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 da. I'm like, okay, what are you talking about? I told you, but that's a whole nother show. But anyway,
I can say sometimes when we get into relationships, we have rose-colored glasses on.
Mm-hmm.
We have this facade that we think how we think it's going to be, and we can get red flags all day long, and we still trucking, we still pushing, until one day the glasses come off and everything is revealed, and you sitting there going, "How did I get from here to there?" Now that I've heard from many married people, many people in relationships and things like that. That when sometimes your emotions are so overwhelming at the beginning, you don't see things, you don't hear things until one day you do.
And why do you think that is?
Because you can say what you want to. We love. We do. We like the emotion. We like those butterflies. We like the way that somebody makes us feel. We love that. We do.
I love it too. It's just that I most times I didn't trust it as much as I loved it. And before I totally got in tune with myself and started loving myself and understanding that kind of stuff, is I wanted love and loved love, but I didn't think that it would ever come to me. I didn't think I was worthy of having it, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah. But you said that was a while back.
Oh yeah.
A while longer time ago.
Yeah, that's how
you have to love yourself first. Ultimately, before you could ever get in any kind of relationship with anybody. That's just point blank, period. Otherwise, you're gonna always be fighting with that person because you don't even have love for yourself. So that's the first step.
Now, do you, in your experiences, just try to think about the circle of friends or colleagues or whatever you want to call it that you have around you? Out of the married amount of people that you know, if percentage wise, how many would you think are in their marriages for the long term, and it was based off of love and purely love and wanting to be with this person for the rest of their life?
Purely love?
Yep.
I would say probably about, I'm going to say about 50% purely love.
Now, what would
other 50% is going to be things that they complimented each other at the time, or still do. How that person made them feel, what they can build together. That person may have been a great mom or a great father to the kids. That's why I said, when marriage is so many different dynamics that is involved. Sometimes people, they be miserable, they be so miserable, but they stay. Why? Because they done got comfortable, they done got complacent. Hell, it's high here. You seen apartments and shit?
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you start to weigh one of my friends told me, weigh your pros and cons. Always weigh your pros and cons.
Yep.
And see which one measures out to be the most. But marriage is It's a true definition of unconditional love. Because when you get in arguments and bicker and tease and aggravate and stuff like that, you still gotta bounce back if you want to keep being with that person. And then some people say, "Well, I ain't bouncing nowhere. I'm getting out of here."
And see now, Miss Rika from Soul Healer Podcast, she's on the YouTube live, y'all, and she just said you got to pick your battles, and that's absolutely true. You definitely have to pick your battles. Now, with the people that you just described, though, Goddess Theory, what do you think got them to cross that threshold of going to marriage specifically? Because everything that you just named, people are in regular ass relationships doing that and going through that, without the marriage.
That's why I started out the conversation of I count since day one. Marriage to me is not just a piece of paper. And to most people, and to some people, it's not. They count everything. It's up to the individual what you make of the marriage and what you consider married. Some people don't count nothing until that paper is signed. Yeah. Some people say, "Nah, I've been with him since day one. I'm counting it all, the whole shebang." I think it's up to the two people to decide what they consider marriage is, and whatever they consider it is, whatever they want to put in it, get out of it. I think that is something that we don't talk about. Because we've grown up, you grew up, I grew up, marriage, you get with the person, you date for a little bit, and then you go sign the paper and happily ever after.
Yep.
Until life happens.
That's right. and it's damn sure going to happen too. It is going to happen sooner than later.
Yeah, until life happens.
I'm trying to.
I think if I could do anything, if I was to go out and if I could be or do anything, I would definitely teach younger people, give them the tools to use when they're in relationships.
Yeah.
When they are not at the same pace or not in the same space with their partner, when things seem like it's not going right, if I can give them the tools to, what is it called? Conflict resolution.
Yeah.
If I can do that would be awesome. If I can get into like the high schools and do that would be awesome. Because nobody ever taught us. All we did what we did. We just saw.
That's it.
We just saw. And like you said, we didn't see mom and daddy arguing and carrying on. They had their disagreements behind closed doors. Yep. So we thinking everything all peaches and cream. And then you get the rose-colored glasses taken off and you realize, oh, they was arguing about this. They had this going on, that going on. But you don't know. Nobody ever taught.
You don't know. And unfortunately, it's like Miss Rika said, that most people she knows stays for the kids or because they're scared to start over. It's like I was saying on your podcast last night, that fear. That's why I said fear twice. Because and I knew a couple that had been married 20 plus years, and they had a son and a daughter. The son was a sophomore and the daughter was a senior, if I'm not mistaken. And these rascals had slept, the wife slept upstairs and the husband slept downstairs on the couch. And they had been doing this for the past 2.5 years. He dates people, she dates people. And they told me that they're waiting until the kids graduate high school to get the divorce. I personally couldn't fathom. I'm like, okay, well, the kids, I'm sure they see that you're, I'm like, that energy spreads on that. So is it better to stay for the kids, or is it better to at least salvage something? And this is if you know that a marriage is not going to work, because there are a lot of different things you can do within a marriage to try to fix it, to try to make it work, blah, blah, blah. But if you know without a shadow of a doubt that the marriage can't be helped, then is it better to stay in it, or is it better to just go your separate ways and try to do what you can do for the betterment of the children?
Well, that's what I said. What they did is they prioritized their children. They was like, we will sacrifice our love, us being together, us, being in that type of situation for the kids to be under one roof for you to be mommy, for you to be daddy. We're going to sacrifice this until they are out of school, and then we'll go on our separate ways. A lot of people do that because, one, they have made that commitment of that's what's going to be the priority.
Mm-hmm.
If your kids ain't the priority, or if you say no, like what patience? What did I just say? Patience. Some people don't have that patience. They say, if it ain't working, the kids, they'll be all right. They'll figure it out. We're going to have that talk and we're going to move on. But some people say, no, I want my kids and the husband and wife, the man and woman to be under one roof, no matter what.
But is that truly making the kids a priority when it's like that? Because you, as Rika said, you have to be whole for the kids to benefit. If you're not whole, if the couple aspect, the husband and the wife, the mother and the father, if they aren't hitting on enough cylinders to have positive communication, good energy in the home, or be productive, then are they really?
What you're teaching them?
Are you prioritizing the children?
You're teaching them to live in chaos, no matter what.
Yeah, because one of the worst things, I'll say this about me, I went through a time where that was my mindset as well. Like, I so did not want my children to come up in a broken home, because that's not the kind of home that I came up in, and I knew the benefits and some non-benefits, to that. But I stayed in situations or bit my tongue and things like that for that purpose. Okay, I don't want to ruffle any feathers. I don't want to make any waves because I don't want to cause problems for the kids or whatever. But and that, when that happened with me, that was to this day, one of the hardest things that I've ever done is, breaking up, well, not breaking it up, but contributing to my children being in a broken home. And that pains me. But when I think about it, I'm like, okay, well, if I would have did this, and this, and stayed in the home, would it have been good for the kids? Because I would have been miserable. She probably would have been miserable. That the kids, they feel all of that stuff, and who knows what it would have caused, with them.
True. I definitely agree. But I guess some people look at the bigger picture. They, like you just said, your past experience, you grew up in a two-parent home. I grew up in a two-parent home. So if I was to leave, best bottom golly, I'm going to sit up here and be like, oh, I know what it's like to live in a two-parent home before I just up and just leave. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's got much weight in my corner. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Somebody else, it might be different from their past experience and stuff like that. But like you said, it was the hardest thing you ever had to do. Sometimes we just got to do the hard stuff in order for the bigger picture, for the betterment of our kids.
There you go. Now you're cooking with doggone Crisco. That's right. That's absolutely correct. Now, when it comes to you, and I know you've already told the people that you're married and you've been married for 200 years, but let's say that you weren't married right now, hypothetically speaking. Okay. What are the three most important things to you when you're considering marrying someone?
What would be the three most important things to me if I was considering marrying someone? Someone I could be my authentic self with, all the way around. I don't want to put on no mask. I don't want to be this certain. No. I gotta be authentic all the time, and vice versa. They gotta be authentic with me all the time. Patience, definitely patience, and I'm gonna say love. I am a sucker for love. I love love. I like the butterfly feeling, because I think when you have that true love, I think other things kind of flows. It just kind of flows.
Yeah, when it's real.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think it just kind of flows. And you can get over a lot of stuff with love, I believe.
I agree.
So yeah, authenticity, patience, and love.
So you being who you are with no judgment, patience, that person have patience. Now, would that be the patience that they would have to have towards you, or just being a patient individual? Period.
I can be a handful. I can truly be a handful.
Hey, I think we all have our doggone moment. I know I do, but Miss Rika said their bond, because she's married as well. She said her bond, respect, and intimacy. Miss Jessica Rabbit said communication skills, affection, and patience. Mm-hmm. So patience is very important, I believe, because we all aren't the same person every single day. Nope. We all have things that we go through. We all have, and whether we communicate it or not, we have things that go on within us, spiritually, emotionally, that may not vibe with our partners at the moment. So, yeah, I think that's a very important thing to have, and it's sometimes hard to have too, patience, because I haven't always been a patient person. I think as the years go by, I get more and more patient with most things. But there was a time where my patience was about as long as a gnat's leg. It was. And when you mentioned earlier about some people get in relationships and the first sign of something, they be like, okay, yeah, I'm out. You know for a fact that was me. That I doggone shoot. If you want to get loud, okay, cool, you have a good one. Yeah. And I'm out. And when I look back on it, I hate that was the way that I was. But now when I look at how people act and how they speak and stuff like that, it seems to me like that mindset is now the new living your best life. Because I see it so much. Before it gets worse or something? Yeah, I see it so much with women telling their girlfriends, oh, well, he did da-da-da-da-da. Oh, girl, you don't need that headache. Go on and move on. It's a long line of jokers that there and will holler at you. And then you have those men that talk to their homeboys. If they say, oh, yeah, well, she got mad at me because I came in. Like, oh, bro, you don't need that. Shoot, forget her. It's like there is no sticking it out, working it out, talking about it, fixing things that you may be doing that your partner doesn't like. There is no compromising anymore. Not on a large scale anyway. Yeah. Yeah. Men get PMS too. Social media has a lot to do with that. I think the faces that we see majority on social media is not the true faces of people. Oh, and I think it actually takes a toll on people's decisions and the decisions they make in their life. I think it really is. If I could take anything away, I would take social media away. Because I remember the 90s and I loved life and I would go back to it if I could. I can't stand social media, but I know it's the tool we use now in this day and age. Yeah. But I hate it. Hey, I'm right there with you on that. I mean, I find myself using it mainly for, business purposes or, promoting and stuff like that. But the everyday, I see some people that literally you would think that Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or whatever is sending out checks or having you clock in. Yeah, having you clock in and clock out from a 9 to 5. Because I'm like, good grief, when I wake up, somebody put a post up, and then you can see when you go back and look, it's like every freaking 15 minutes for at least 10 hours a day. It's actually really sad. I tell my son all the time, I said, I wish you got to live life without social media. Oh my gosh. Uh-huh. You would. It's priceless. It truly, we didn't know we had it. Nope. It's priceless. That's right. I remember. I think it was in good old 2010. I can't even remember the reason I did it, but there was about 2 or 3 months where I was, and back then I think it was just MySpace and Facebook. That was like the main ones. But I had Facebook, and I took like a 2 or 3 month break And when I tell you that was some of the most peaceful times that I've had in my bloody life. I was not seeing everybody's issues, problems, this person talking about this person, or people on there mad at their baby mamas and their baby daddies, so they putting all their business on there. And I'm like, come on, man.
People they use it. I think they use it for like
therapy. You know what? You may be right.
Social media for therapy.
You may be right. And hopefully, I pray that is helping, because they show putting a lot of energy into it. So if that's the case, I hope it's doing what it's supposed to do. Now I have a question that just came in for you, Goddess Zuri, and it says, what happens when the butterflies stop?
Honey, because they will. But once again, that's where the love right there. Love is an umbrella. I look at love as an umbrella. If you have love intact, you will be able to communicate, or you'll want to communicate. You can get the butterflies back. The intimacy, conversation, the all of that falls up under love. But if you don't have that love, it's going to be kind of hard to pull those other things that's under the umbrella, because you don't have the main ingredient. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, makes a lot of sense.
So yeah, the butterflies gonna come and go. Believe that. Yeah, don't be like me over here sitting there waiting for the butterflies all day, every day. They're gonna come and they're gonna go. But just know that if they stop coming, that's when you need to get worried.
when they leave and don't come back, huh?
When they leave and don't come back, that's when you need to get worried.
Because what a lot of people don't understand is, and I can say this because I've been in marriages and relationships both, so you don't always, well, I'll say me. I didn't always like the person I was with. If there was love there, the love I can't cut my love on and off like a light switch, but the like wasn't always there.
Yeah.
But it's like you said, when there's genuine love there, then you can pretty much get through most anything, especially when your partner has a willingness to, get through it as well.
Say that again, the willingness.
Yeah, that
you cannot be in a relationship by yourself.
Oh no.
No. It's just not going to happen. You got to have the willingness to put forth the effort to see what's wrong and try to find a solution. The willingness.
Now with the respect factor, what we were talking about earlier, the way that it was viewed in the past, let's say 20 plus years ago, we probably got to go further, let's say 30 years ago, the way it was viewed then, what do you think needs to either be added to or taken away from our day-to-day to bring that reverence back, to bring that viewpoint for marriage back? Yeah.
Attention. It's pure, undistracted attention. And that goes back to the social media. When you have that social media breaking up the attention, breaking up that space, then it becomes a domino effect.
So you mean the attention toward the partner?
The attention towards the partner, yes.
That's real good. I saw it was a meme or a GIF or something a couple of weeks ago, and they had this family. This family was out to dinner, and it was like everyone. It's like down to the baby had a phone, and they were all looking at the phone and everything like that. And then I think one of them decided to put the phone down and ask, how the family was doing or whatever, and nobody had anything to say.
Yeah, because they don't even know how to interact with each other unless it's a tweet. They had to tweet it, and the other person would have tweeted back.
And see, I still don't totally understand how to even work Twitter. I've had Twitter for so many doggone years and still haven't figured out what the point is, how to do it. I'll tweet something and it may get half a darn camel humps worth of attention. And I'm like, okay, what? I'm like, I don't even know really how to navigate that. I'm trying to learn it, but I've even had to catch myself sometimes though when it's almost like the art of communicating has been lost a little bit too, because I've been on dates before and even when even when I've been with the kids sometimes, we'll be out and they'll pull out the iPads or whatever, or I'll pull out my phone, and it's like you'll communicate for a little bit and then you go right back to the device. It's a sad time.
Yeah. I actually remember, Lee. I want to say it was back in 2008, I want to believe. 2008, 2009. And me and my bae had went out with another couple. And we're used to communicating, engaging back and forth with them, having good conversation, couple conversation kind of thing. Uh-huh. And both of them was on their phone. And I thought I was being punked. I was like, are they texting each other about us? Are we not good company? But no, they was on social media in the presence of another couple, both of them.
Talking about what you guys were doing?
I was baffled by that. I was so baffled. I was just like, wow, is this where we're going? And John Brown, if we ain't 10 times worse than that now.
Oh, yeah.
Like you said, you go out with people, you're supposed to experience and connect and engage with it. Engage. I can't say that enough. You're supposed to engage with each other, but you're sitting there on the phone, texting this, pulling up that. And I think us having access and our beck and call has ruined us.
Yeah.
It really has ruined us.
Yeah, that easy access is a problem. And it flows from the top to the bottom. And I think that is also another door that has been added to relationships, marriages, or whatnot that have kind of broken it down. Because I've heard people say that there's nothing greater than having options. I personally don't believe that. But when you have a situation where, since we're talking about marriage, we'll talk about married couples. When you have a situation where a marriage gets kind of rocky and the husband or the wife has about 5 to 10 people in their DMs that's been trying to get at them for the longest and stuff like that, it reminds me of the situation with, I don't know if you watch BMF, but I saw the episode. So the Charles episode is what I'm talking about. Yeah. Now you have jokers that have all of these options, because truth be told, every single person on the planet has somebody other than the person that they're with that will give them the time of day. Yeah. So you have to be strong enough to chop that stuff down and to suppress it and say, look, I'm stuck on this here. This is where my lifeline is, and that's what it's going to be. Mm-hmm. But when you have people that kind of leave that door cracked open to have somebody else slide through there, then of course, when things get a little rough, they're going to be like, okay, wait a minute. I haven't met any rough times with Susie that's in my DMs right now. So let me just hop on over there. So I agree. Those options fucked a lot of stuff up. Yeah, definitely. Because, I don't know why I want to go back to the 60s for some reason. I was talking about the 60s yesterday, but in the 60s, you had to have effort if you was gonna, because you didn't have no phone, you didn't have no Instagram and DMs and stuff. So if you was gonna talk to old Sally over here, you had to make an effort. That's right.
Find Sally, go engage with her some kind of way. That included leaving the house, getting in your car. You had to make effort. Now it's just like you can set your fingertips. Yep. Now, do you think that people should spend more time dating someone before they marry them? Or do you feel like it's okay to just jump right in? I believe everybody's different. I've seen couples that knew each other for a week and been married for years. And I know people that have been engaged 10 years, and as soon as they sign that dotted line, a year later, they divorce. It depends on the couple. Everybody is different. Everybody. There's no certain rhyme or reason. There's no specific recipe It's different for everybody.
I tell you now, that reminds me of my mom knew a couple or knows a couple rather, and I met them, years ago. But anyway, they had dated. By the time I met them, they had been dating for 21 years. Now I asked my mom.
Comfortable with what they was doing.
I guess. I mean, I asked my mom about. I was like, "Darn, brother, didn't Darren want to marry her after all this time?" And she was like, "Oh, well, that works for them." No lie, they were married 21 years when I met them. About 2 years after I met them, they got married. Within 3 or 4 months, they broke up. That paper is something serious, but I don't understand. I didn't ask them what happened, but I always wanted to know what was it that was so different? What made it to where once you got married, you couldn't handle it anymore?
No, you don't. You can't even say once you got married, once you signed that dotted line. Because honestly, they've been married since day one.
Yeah.
They was always, I say spiritually married. They was always spiritually married, but they signed on a dotted line. That's what changed.
Is it that it does the dotted line add does it add to the pressure? Yeah, does the dotted line add to the pressure of it all or something?
Yes, it do to some people. It really does.
Wow.
Some people can't. Without the dotted line, if you are with someone and it just goes awry, you can get up and most of the time, we say most of the time you can get up and leave and no harm, no foul. But with that dotted line, you got to go through legality stuff with possessions, the kids, the dog, and the doggone cat.
Yeah.
It's a whole different ballgame.
It's contractual. And that brings, because I looked up a little bit, I wanted to be as spot on with some of the stuff as possible. So it said, good old Webster says marriage is being united as spouses in a consensual and contractual relationship recognized by law. That's why that dotted line is so freaking strong. Because most people do not like to be bound in a contract with anything.
Yep.
Because it makes you feel like you have no freedom to do whatever you want to do. Mm-hmm. It's like someone else is in control.
That's what it boils down to. That's really what it boils down to. I was listening to another podcast, and a guy was saying that he viewed marriage as a business. He said it ain't nothing but a business. He said if that person was to go to the hospital today and you haven't signed on the dotted line, I don't care how long you've been with them, y'all haven't signed on the dotted line, and God forbid that person had to go to the hospital and you had to do the life support thing. If that dotted line is not signed, you have no rights whatsoever.
Yeah.
So I look at marriage as a business.
Yeah.
And honestly, that's the truth.
And that can be it just like anything else, it can have its pros and its cons, because we just went through a situation with my brother. His wife, there were things that he wanted and things that we wanted for him and whatnot, but there was a lot of friction because at the end of the day, that wife who signed on that bloody dotted line had more say so than we had, even though what we wanted to do would have and could have been in his best interest. But because she had ulterior motives or whatnot, she could just pull that, hey, well, I'm his wife. Mm-hmm. And that now in a lot of instances, marriage does hold a lot of weight.
Yeah, definitely.
I had a situation before.
I'm pretty sure I don't know when marriage was created. Do you know that? Do you know when it actually started, where you had to sign and it became a contract?
Oh, God, I was about to say something else. Now, when it first became a contract, well, let's see if my good friend who I went to school with named Siri can tell me. Because
See, look at that information at your fingertips.
there you go. When was Bloody Marriage?
I would like to know what it was like for the people before the actual contracts came into play. I would love to know that.
Okay, yeah, we talking about contractual because this is talking about 2350 BC. Oh, the Soul Healer Podcast got it up too. Yeah, could you please, Miss Rika, can you look up when it was contractual though? Because we talking about the contract, not the Bible times when they were walking around in dusty sandals and stuff like that and chopping up lambs and stuff. Yeah, we talking about when the first paper got signed.
When they started taxes, when some taxes.
Yeah.
I bet you.
They did. You're right. Jessica Rabbit says they talked about contracts in Moses' time. You're right. They actually did. But okay, let me try to ask it in this kind of way. Okay, at what point, and try to dissect the way I'm saying it, at what point, if y'all can find, at what point was marriages invented to where if it didn't work out, there was a splitting of assets and whatnot? 1639. We got it right here. Thank you for that.
1639. Okay, so marriage has been around for a minute.
Yeah.
1639. Okay.
So the dotted line became like Thanos in 1639.
Oh goodness, that heavy dotted line.
Boy, I'm telling you, that ink is something powerful.
It's something powerful, I tell you.
And it can be a beautiful, wonderful, marvelous thing. It really can. If it is mutually went into with an open mind by both parties. Because sometimes people, and I think, and I'm just assuming here, I think that's where the whole marriage counseling and stuff like that came into, because you have to make sure that both people are on the same wavelength. You might want something out of marriage that the other person may not want out of it. You may view it as one thing and they may view it as another. So you want it. I guess it doesn't have to be exact, but you kind of want both parties to
be the same ballpark.
Yeah.
And be fluid. I learned that today. You have to be fluid to learn that person is not going to be the same person that you met throughout the whole marriage. You got to be fluid to flow with them, adjust, evolve with them, and hopefully both of y'all are evolving too. But as long as y'all are on the same kind of wavelength and you have love, I think that is one of the hardest challenges that people don't take that into consideration. That people are not going to stay the same. They're going to change.
Yeah.
Hell, when life, yeah, you're going to change.
It's bound to happen.
To flow with it.
It's bound to happen. But so it ultimately goes back to what we were saying, the mindset of the people. You have to desire to want things to work, because it's one of the easiest things, and I found this out personally. One of the easiest things to do, and I'm not, considering children, I'm talking about minus children. One of the easiest things to do is to give up. That's very simple. It's real easy to say, okay, I'm not dealing with this anymore and I'm out.
Yeah.
One of the hardest things to do is work something out when you don't feel good inside. To stick in there and work through something when you're upset, when you're angry, when you feel like the other person is not hearing you, when you feel like they're not understanding you. It takes a lot to fight through that and keep going.
Yeah, it really does. It really does. That's where that unconditional love comes into play.
Mm-hmm. And what does that look like to you?
It's gonna come where you, like you said, where you don't like, you sit there looking and you don't like that person. Yeah, it's gonna come. It's inevitable.
Callie said sometimes love is not enough. Didn't I do a show about is love enough?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, it's not enough by itself.
By itself, it's not. You're right, and that's
No,
a
by
fact,
itself,
Callie.
it's not.
Sometimes love is not enough.
Yeah, but like I said, at least it's a good foundation start. For me, it's a good foundation start because, like I said, under the love umbrella is a lot of things under there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but yeah, that was a good show too. That love is not enough. Yeah.
Thank you. And for those that didn't hear that show, go back and listen to it. But
yeah, it was a very good show.
Now, do you feel like love is strong enough to battle through a storm when your partner is not showing or exemplifying love? Do you think your love is strong enough for the both of you?
Once again, you can't fight in the ring by yourself. I don't care how much love you got. No. You cannot fight by yourself. I'm a firm believer of that.
Well, how many rounds?
Even if they're giving 10%, it's still something. And you're giving 90, it's still something. But if they're giving 0 and you're giving 100, it's not going to work. You cannot fight by yourself. You ever seen Mayweather? Mayweather get a ring and the other person just ain't fighting. You over there fighting by yourself. It ain't gonna work. You gotta give some kind of effort.
But at the same time now, sometimes Mayweather is just strictly defense, and he don't have no offense. Now there have been times, where I've seen that Joker go a whole round.
No, the whole fight. The whole, what is it, 10 rounds?
12 normally, but
12 rounds.
So
you gotta do something. Now, come on now.
So that's part of the love carrying it, because if you, let's say it's a couple of rounds where your partner isn't fighting at all. I mean, and that goes to what we were saying. I guess it depends on the couple too, because there are some people that'll let you not fight at all for a round or two. And there are some people that have that resilience and their love is so big, or their ways that they're viewing what they're into, they might let you go the whole 12 rounds and not fight. And they say, okay, well, this 12 rounds, wasn't productive, but we'll wait for the next third bout. I'm not one of those 12 rounder not fighting type of people.
You're not a what?
I'm not one of those 12 rounds non-fighting type of people. Within a couple of rounds, I'm probably gonna be saying something like, "Hey, do you want this? You got to tell me something."
Well, then that's what, in the words of my mom, you gotta know when enough is enough.
You gotta know when to fold them.
Nobody can answer that question for you. Only you know when enough is enough.
Know when to hold on. Know when to walk away. Know when to run. You better count your money while you're sitting at the table. Yeah, that's right. That's right. I'm telling you, it flows differently. But like you were saying too, a lot of that extra noise that's around a couple can cause a person to either be ready to get out of the fight before the 12 rounds are up, or fight through it. So you have to be very careful about who you surround yourself with. And Callie said something very important. She likes to talk about people being on her train, and where you are on her train and stuff. And I think that's important to know what places people hold in your lives, and know how much to give those that may not have your best interest at heart. Because me personally, I'm very, very, very selective on who I let know about certain things that I'm dealing with.
Yeah.
Because everybody is not good for what you have going on.
Mm-hmm.
You have all these imps or doggone crickets and all kinds of stuff get in your ear, and I'm telling you, them jokers will suck you bloody dry.
Yep.
Jessica Rabbit
Smile
said,
in your face and stab me in the back.
they smile in your face all the time. They want to take your place. The backstabber. Hey, I'm telling you, that's true. That is true. Jessica Rabbit said, my husband said, you're going to have to break up with me. He said, I'm not giving up. Hey, that right on, brother. Right on. But I have a funny story about that. Transparency time. Ding, 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 ding. When I was 16 years old, I unfortunately had a situation where I was dating this girl, and I used the same words, Jessica. I told her, I said, you're gonna have to break up with me because I'm not going anywhere. Well, lo and behold, when I felt like going somewhere, I remembered telling her that. So I started doing things to try to make her break up with me. This sister would not break up with me for crap. She wouldn't. I mean, I was trying my hardest. I wasn't returning phone calls. I was making dates and not showing up. Just all kinds of ignorant, immature things. And one day, she caught on to it. She was very intelligent. I was 16. I think she was going on 18, but she was very intelligent. She told me one day over the phone, she said, I remember when you told me that you weren't going nowhere and I'd have to break up with you. And I have a feeling that's what you're trying to make me do. So I'll just give you what you want. Oh. But it's a great thing to now. That's not to say, Jessica, that your husband thought that way, because I don't believe that. I think he's probably sincere. That's a wonderful way to look at it. Yeah, like, I'm not going anywhere. Yeah, that's how I think you should look at relationships and stuff like that. Like, hey, whatever we got going on, we're gonna work it out. You may not like me today, but I'm gonna love you forever. So we're gonna work it out. We're gonna just do what we have to do. Yeah. That's why I think that man caves and whatever women call their little areas, I think those are very I think those are very important, because you don't always need to be in somebody's face. Now I said that I was separate parts of the house. That's right. She sheds. That's right, Rika. She sheds. Now, Goddess, you have 20 seconds left. Now, I did say that I wanted to get out, but this is going pretty good. So when you drop, I want you to jump back up here. Okay. Yeah, but and to those that are in here, all 36 of y'all, thank you for coming in. Please chime up. Come on up in here right now while Goddess Zuri may make her a drink or something. So we'll give her a couple of minutes to relax. If somebody wants to come up, I see you, Goddess. I see you. Let me get you back up here real quick. And I think after I already hit it, I saw the good doctor wanting to come up. So just try to bide your time, doctor. Try to bide your time. Try to hang in just a little bit. Oh, well, if you got somebody, I want to hear other people too. I want to hear what you have to say. Do you? Okay, we'll hear what the good doctor has to say in a moment. Let's let Miss Charmaine come. She right here. Hold on, Dr. Goodman. I'm gonna let you come up in a second because she wants to hear what you have to say too. I got Charmaine about to come in now. Don't go nowhere, Goddess. Okay. Charmaine is coming up to give her $20 of expertise. Hello.
You said $20.
$20 worth of it. Yeah, because normally people say they 2 cents, but I think it's more valuable than that. So
yeah, it is more than $20.
How's your evening going?
It's a little crazy at work today, but finally winding down and just relaxing and hearing your show. So yeah, it's going good. How about yours?
Good. It's going. What do you think about the topic?
I think as far as marriage nowadays, everybody has like more of a, it's not like more of a, like I said, like back in the days where they hold on and to the marriage and try to work the relationship out. Now everybody's pretty much, if I'm not happy, I'm out of here type thing, and not, some are not willing to even try to work it out. And I get it, because we all want to be happy. You know, we all, if life is too short to be in a miserable relationship, or where you try and you feel like the other person is not trying, and you give it all that you can, and you feel like the other person's not doing the same. And so you have to choose whether you want to be in a relationship or be happy and find a relationship that you can be happy with. So I guess the marriage doesn't hold that much weight as how people are used to, where it, you know, where like my mom and my dad, they were married until my dad passed away. And so they were married for 48 years. So they were married for a long time. And boy, they had their ups and downs. And I just used to look at my mom and be like, Mom, what is wrong with you? You need to leave him. And I used to tell my mom too, like, you need to leave Dad, because why are you with him? And I would even tell her, like, even as my dad, you know, he was my dad, and I love my dad, but I would even tell my mom, like, why are you with him? And my mom used to tell me, she said, you know, I'm not that type of person to just go to bars and go to clubs and try to find a man. She was like, I love your dad, and I love him a lot. And I know he acts the way he does sometimes, but he is who he is, and that's who I love. And I don't want nobody else. And then me, you know, I was a kid, and I'm just like, Mom, my mom is crazy. She just wants to be with him, knowing that, you know, my dad would act a fool sometimes on the weekend. Why would you do that? And I told my mom, why would you stick around? And she did tell me, she said, because I have 4 kids. Where am I going to go? I'm going to stay, you know, we can go to grandma. I'm like, I have a plan for her and everything. We can go to grandma's house, you know. And she was like, no, we can't go to grandma's house because, you know, she has her own faith, her and, you know, grandpa. And she's like, pretty much a lot of, back in the days, they stuck it out because of the kids. Maybe the man was the main provider, and the woman stayed around just, you know, because she relied on him a lot. So
Yeah.
nowadays, marriage is not like that. It's, some people are just like, you know what? I might not have a job, I might not have everything that I need, but they want to be happy, or you know, they want sometimes the relationship is not good for them to be in, you know, at the same time. So they have options, and I get it. Like, I get it now that if you have options and your option is to be happy, then take it.
Yeah.
You know, if your relationship is not going good, then take it. You know, and I used to always tell my mom back in the days when she, you know, to leave my dad, and she just wouldn't. And now people are not scared, I guess, maybe, and since they're not scared to leave the relationship. Like back in the days, you know, my mom was like, you know, what am I going to do with 4 kids? Where am I going to go with 4 kids? You know, and my mom didn't work because she stayed home to take care of the kids while my dad provided. So we had a lot of that too back in the days. Now there's usually the women work, the man work, and we have more choices. So I think that's why marriage doesn't hold much weight now, because we have more options. A lot of us pick ourselves, you know, to be happy and stuff like that. So it doesn't hold value, but when you do find the right person, then that's when it holds the weight that's holding it, and it holds the value.
I agree. So you think like a lot of it is because of the quote unquote independence, or the ability for the wife to take care of herself now, and which kind of reverts back to that fear that we talked about earlier, the fear of having the quote, you know, 4 kids and having to do it on their own. But now with women being in such power positions of life, and the mindset's changing, that fear is kind of not there anymore. So it's like you said, when it boils down to, okay, me being happy or me sticking in something that's not good for me, I choose me.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense.
And I say that to anybody. I mean, if your relationship is, and you know it's not good, then I mean, I wouldn't want someone to be in a relationship, in a bad relationship, abusive relationship, or a narcissist relationship, because of, we have kids, or because you're comfortable, and that's easy. The other thing is you get comfortable too. So it's just a lot of things that happens when you're married. A lot of emotions. Maybe you do love your spouse, and your spouse is just not giving you the same treatment. I mean, it's just a whole bunch of different scenarios. But today, a lot of people are choosing themselves and are choosing happiness and trying to find it. And whether it's being with a person or just letting them go. And that's why I feel like the marriage is just it doesn't hold any weight as far as that.
Some of them think it's time to let it go. Let it go, baby.
It's a good thing. I mean, if you feel like that relationship is not working for you, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. If you can go and take care of yourself, I mean, and you see a lot of, just on social media where single women, that they're in an abusive relationship and they're living in shelters with their kids.
Yeah.
And back in the days, they stuck it out like my mom. She stuck it out for all those years. And nowadays, women are like, I can't take it no more. I gotta go. And so they leave, and they live in homeless shelters and do what they have to do to take care of themselves and their children, and just to leave that situation.
Yeah.
But yeah, marriage can hold its weight. It just depends if that marriage is right for you.
Mm-hmm. So, That's right. Thank you.
It can hold the weight. It just depends if it's right for you. You both are willing to work it out, and you're willing to put your differences aside when something comes up, or willing to work on situations that come up, and one needs the other, and it can hold its weight. But it just depends if both of them want, to hold each other up when times get rough.
Yeah, definitely. Both of them have to be in the fight. Like Goddess Zuri was saying, you can't fight by yourself. I totally agree. I absolutely appreciate your take on it, your stance on it, because it's factual. That's the way it is. So I appreciate you, and thank you so much for your comments. I got some more people waiting in line to come up here and speak their truths as well.
Okay.
And if you choose to hop back up, that's fine too. But don't leave, because some good stuff coming up right here.
All right. Well, hopefully you feel better.
Oh, thank you so much.
All right.
All right, we're gonna bring Miss Rika Davis up here real quick. And Dr. Goodman, I still see you. Don't go anywhere. You normally have some very good things to talk about, and you seem to have a lot of input. So hello. Okay, that was a guest that was gonna come up but didn't want to come up. But she's here, so I thank you for being here. And she Miss Rika Davis has a podcast called Soul Healer Podcast. So y'all please check her out, because it's a wonderful podcast. It's on Spotify and other networks as well. Hey.
Yeah, I definitely agree with what Charmaine said. The options can be you.
Yeah.
You choosing you to love you more, and you choose your happiness. I definitely agree with what she said. Sometimes it ain't just like you got these plethora of women or plethora of dudes lining up your doorstep. Heck, it could be you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely agree with what she said.
And a lot of times, I think it's good for people to choose themselves and their happiness within. I guess it just depends on the kind of relationship you entered into, because marriage is totally different than just boyfriend and girlfriend. So I think it's a lot easier, or a lot more accepted in just a plain relationship, to where things aren't going the way you want them to go, and you know it's not going to get better, to kind of choose yourself and move on. But marriages are different. You know, as we know, you're that line, that dotted line we were talking about. You know, you're under contract in a marriage, so the fight has to be a little different.
The fight has to be different.
The fight has to be a little different. Oh, Goddess, we got on Miss Nakita Hunt that wants to come up, say a little something. I know you wanted to hear other people. Don't you go anywhere though, because I still have to hear you and the good doctor.
I'll be here.
The good doctor, good. And doctor, I'll let you come up after Miss Hunt drops out. Hey.
Hello, y'all.
How are you?
I'm tired, but I'm here. Of course, every week I will support. Miss Goddess, you are beautiful. Absolutely gorge. I missed a little bit because I had a business phone call, but listen, in the time of meditation, relaxation, herbs, crystals, zen, chakras, all that, people are not putting up with no crap.
Yep.
Period.
That's right.
Self-love is a big thing right now with everybody. And we're trying to take care of ourselves, and we're not with the bullshit. I'm just going to put it out there like that. I was married for 5 years. People, I've told you before, he was on drugs. I'm looking back at the patterns, influence how my parents were married. My mom's been married. This is her third marriage. My grandparents, they fought. They were alcoholic. I mean, I think sometimes it's how you grow up, what you see, who you're influenced by, whether your marriage is going to work or it's not. It doesn't even have to be your family that is influenced by it. It could be your friends or what you see, as God has said, social media, TV, whatever. People are always mimicking what or who somebody else is, and they base their relationships and marriages off of that. And then when it doesn't work, it's like, okay, I'm gone.
Mm-hmm. So you think a lot of it, too, in which I agree, a lot of it is people looking inside other people's houses and expecting theirs to look that way.
Yeah, wanting what they have. And you can want it, it's fine, because I think positive influence is really good, but what's good for the goose is not good for the gander. And like you say, you always looking out over the horizon. It's like, dang, that grass sure is green over there. And then the closer you get to it, as I always call it, it's a shit pasture.
Mm.
And by then you're up to your knees in shit. So you're trying to figure out what to do. The reason I got married is because my ex-husband's mom was a pastor from the Low Country. She's, from Myrtle Beach, and it was the push. Y'all don't need to be laying together. Y'all don't need to be doing this. You need to be married. So we got married.
Quit that shacking up.
With white t-shirts on and blue jeans for $55 at the courthouse in Myrtle Beach.
Hey,
when I left, I was at home cooking him some chicken in the pan and threw an ironing board in the pan at him.
Oh my goodness.
Same day.
That was a glorious reception.
Yeah, I knew it wasn't gonna work, but it was one of those things is where you need to be married, and it was always something toxic with that whole family. And I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna let these whores beat me. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna get married, and I'm gonna show them it's gonna work. 5 years, it was over.
Hey, they say it's better to marry than to burn.
Well,
that's what they say.
In the fire with gasoline draws on. That was the worst experience of my life.
Oh my goodness.
It was the worst experience of my life. I said we moved 13 to 15 times, I think, while I was married for 5 years. It was awful. God awful.
Was he in the military?
No, he was on drugs.
Oh.
He was on drugs. He was a good guy. I mean, if there's a look for drugs, he didn't look like it, as people say, because he did it in the house. He didn't do it in the streets. He wasn't out begging and stuff like that. He just got his stuff and came back to the house. And, we tried to help him. He was a good guy.
Mm-hmm.
But it was the most horrific experience, traumatic, that I've ever experienced in my life. And I'm hoping, and I don't think that my sons, they saw everything that were around it, but I don't think they'll turn out like that. So I had to get out. And then I also heard this, I don't know if anybody else has heard that if it doesn't work within the first 5 years, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
You've heard that before?
Yeah, I've heard that.
Mm-hmm. So
there's someone.
It's like I gotta go.
There's a message board going, and I was told to tell you that you get 2 snaps of fingers. Yes, queen. And that's exactly how it was written. So I'm saying it how it was written. Yes, queen.
Thank you. But yeah, marriage, like Charmaine said, marriage can hold weight.
Yeah.
God has been married 19 years. Girl, I'm bowing down to you.
Yeah, that's an amazing feat.
Yeah, it's an amazing feat. If you pass that 5 years, it's amazing. Now, I'm not saying I possibly could do it. I'll be what? How old will I be by then? 19 years. Ooh, 70. I've been ahead to pick up something and knock him out. But anyway, yeah, it can. I think, again, self-love and all the meditating and, really trying to know our inner selves now is what's stopping the marriage from holding weight. And marriage is just a word. It's just a piece of paper.
A strong dotted line, though.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's a notarized piece of paper that says, "Oh, but when you dated for years, you've been married."
Yeah. Yeah.
When you sleep with somebody the first time, that's your husband or wife. I mean, that's what's been said over and over again. And it's how you treat it. Like, again, past shows, I love when we do this because your shows evolve into something, from the past and it goes up. Mm-hmm. But get to know people. Really know people, and you'll know, like you said, this ain't gonna work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Or at least you have a damn good idea.
Mm-hmm. But you try to entertain it because guess what? You've already went out there, and if you had the big wedding, spent all that money on that wedding, now you gotta oh God, I gotta make sure it look like it's gonna work out because I done blew all this money. These people done came and what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But hey,
it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Once again, your golden vocals on the subject have been greatly appreciated because you always have good input and stuff like that. And that's what I love too. Let me just say that anyone that is come on and given their perspectives and stuff like that, I love how things can be so different from different people, but yet kind of come full circle with the mindset of peace and wanting ultimate happiness at the end of the day.
At the end of the day. And I want to say this. Mm-hmm. I come on every week because I talk a lot, number one. And this time you threaten me. But I think I want everybody to have a voice.
Yes.
This is like you said when you're in church and the pastor say, "Okay, Salid, I want you to pray." And you're like, "Well, I don't know how to pray." Mm-hmm. It don't matter what come out your mouth. Say it.
That's right.
We're going to decipher what you're saying. We're going to figure it out, and we're going to work on this together. So when you're on these podcasts, this is why we're here. So we can help and encourage and empower each other,
that's
male
right.
or female.
Yeah.
Them, her, he, it, whatever. Talk. Let us know your story because your testimony may help us out.
That's facts.
So
I love it.
But I'm not going to hold you.
Hey,
I'm not going to hold you.
I love it. I appreciate you. Continue to be who you are. Continue to do what you do, and continue to listen. I have one of our favorites, the Good Doctor, about to come up now. He's been waiting.
Okay.
He's been waiting patiently, and after the Good Doctor, we'll bring Goddess Zuri back up, unless we have some more people that pop up in here.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. I'll talk to y'all later.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. All right, we got the doctor coming. He'll be in 3 seconds.
Lifestyles Evaluation Corp.
Hello.
Yes, it's been really great, yes, I've been married for 30 years, and when you asked last time what's love enough, I said yes for me, but if you want to have someone in the relationship with you, then you expand that because it's the level of communication between the two of you on what it is that you all want together. And so, being married back in the days, my mom and dad, see their friend will come over and one of them is talking to dad and one of them is talking to mom. And next thing you know, they have dinner together, they talking to each other, and it's just like a family affair, but they got back together. They got their communication out, and what was going on instead of just trying to stick it out. And because back in the days, we didn't believe in sticking it out because of the kids. We stuck it out because we loved each other, and that was the first reason why we got together in the first place. There was something, so we built something, and so it's communication breakdown does happen, and so hey, you make it as best as you can, and like my parents and relatives said to me, do the best you can in life. Don't do what other people say that you should be doing. Do what you know to do.
Yeah.
Do the right thing. Yes. And I have actually a course statement that I want to play, if you don't mind, about love, and then the lady can come back. But here goes.
Okay.
Love for sale. Investigation. Love for sale. Investigation of the nature of love in our society, finding and maintaining love in life. Many of us don't know how to have love, be ever expanding and maintaining it, without which it is likely to end in disappointment. Many hope their lives will be blessed with love. At the same time, they fear that it may be elusive or too expensive to obtain and too difficult to keep up. Love has the highest emotional value in our culture, yet to most of us, it is surrounded by mystery. Although we revere and desire it, most people feel out of control of it.
What you think?
Hey, there's a lot of meat in that. There's a lot of good meat in that.
Yes. And we based our relationship off of these courses because I was teaching the courses, and she came and took the courses, and she just kept taking the courses and communicating with me, and the next thing we know that we was taking the courses together, and we ended up being a couple, and what it boiled down to, it was the level of communication that we had with each other and what we was already doing.
Well, I tell you, that's a beautiful thing.
Yes. So thank you, but yes, and that's actually in the book. I put that in the book because it does have a lot of information just in the words, the statements themselves. And that's where I got each statement. Love it. I'll get the right word. I'm gonna just play it, one of them.
Investigation of the nature of love.
See, jumping right there. I can talk on that for a long time, because people do really investigate their love, like the last statement said, being in control of it, like you said, being out of control of it,
Mm-hmm.
but you want to be in love. But at the same time, you get out of control of it, as well as it's too, the price is too high, so the love is there for the other person.
That's right.
With you.
Well, once again, Doc, I truly appreciate you coming on and giving your expertise. And like I said the last time, it's admirable that you've been in marriage as long as you have. And I think there's a lot that we can learn from you and your experience. So I thank you for coming on and sharing with us. And once again, I say anytime you want to come up, feel free. I hope you continue to listen, and we'll get Miss Goddess back up here.
Okay. All right. Yes. No, I like listening to you.
Well,
Talk with you later.
Thank you so much. Have a good evening.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, we got Mrs. Goddess Zuri coming back up now. There she is.
I'm back.
Yeah. So
I have to say thank you to Miss Nikita. She was for her compliments and things. Thank you so much. Many blessings to you too. But I agree with what she said though.
Yeah, definitely.
Shoot, get out while you can, if you know, and you know.
Yeah, you know.
You be knowing.
You be knowing. That's a definite.
Sometimes people hit the override button.
Uh-huh.
To keep overriding what they already feel inside,
For various reasons. I mean, sometimes and I'll speak for me, there have been times where you get in situations and you might know, but there's a part of you also that remembers the parts of it that you love and that you value and you cherish, and you so want those times to come back to where you kind of feel like, hey, if I stick it out a little bit longer, or if I do this or that, maybe, just maybe I can get it back. And I understand that, but like you said, both people have to be fighting in order for that to work.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a true fact.
Without the fight, there would be no plight.
Nope, not at all. Not at all.
This has been absolutely amazing. I've been threatened by several people for various reasons tonight, which have me tickled. But hey, I totally accept the ass whoopings that are coming my way because they are warranted. I'm gonna give it let's say, Goddess, I know you mentioned it at the beginning, but I'm gonna give a moment for anyone else that may want to come up and voice anything about the subject of whether marriage holds any weight anymore. But while we're seeing if somebody else wants to come up, I want you to kind of share some of those other things that you're involved with, because I'm hoping that everyone listening, please go. I will say go follow the podcast Vulnerably Naked. It's on the Wisdom app. It's amazing. They go on every Wednesday at 8:00. And you can let them know what else you have going on, Goddess. Tell them about the vegetables and stuff.
What'd you say?
The vegetables and everything. The garden. Yeah, the garden and the whipping cream.
Follow me on Life with Goddess Zuri. That's life is spelled LYFE with Goddess Zuri. You'll see everything that I do. I also create body butter called whipping cream.
Oh, and it is so good.
That you can use from head to toe.
That doggone.
What do you say?
I have to interrupt right here. That mother freaking whipping cream is something serious. When I tell you it makes your doggone body, and it ain't just for the hands or nothing like that. After I shower, I put it on well, you know what I mean? And it feels absolutely amazing. Go ahead, continue.
But yeah, I share garden tips because I do have a garden. I'm a beginner garden, but you got to start somewhere. So I'm just sharing the tip that I learned, and that's been helping my garden and stuff flourish over the different years. I just share my garden tips. I'm also a foodie. So I'm also I try different restaurants and different foods, and I let y'all know where to go and try the different foods and things of that nature. Pretty much, I'm just sharing bits and pieces of my life that make me happy. So once again, y'all can go follow me on Instagram, Life, LYFE, with Goddess Zuri.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for that, and thank you for coming on tonight too. And
I enjoyed myself.
I'm definitely gonna be shooting you in about 15 minutes probably some subject matter because for those of you that don't know, which would be everybody, Vulnerably Naked will be my guest on here Thursday after next. I don't know the exact date on it,
March 15th.
but there you go. March 6th. You say 16th?
Yeah,
March the 16th. Vulnerably Naked will be my guest on here. So definitely tune in for that. Continue to follow me here. Follow me on my YouTube page, which is King Shit Productions. I thank those that are watching on my live right now on YouTube. Thank those that are here listening rather. And those that came up, I truly appreciate you because it takes a lot to, sometimes open yourselves up and speak your own truths. It's very therapeutic and healing, but at the same time, it can be hard too. So I appreciate everyone that does come on and does speak and does give your input, because what you may feel like is very simple could be very big to somebody else. And we all can help each other. And I would hope that we all want to see each other grow and help these foundations that we have to be stronger. And that's all I have to say about VIAP. Anything else, Goddess?
Well, like I always tell everybody, make sure to live your life on purpose. Have a good day on purpose.
Absolutely. And that is amazing. And that's how we're going to end this tonight, y'all. I appreciate y'all. Come back next Thursday at 6:00. I'm going to take me some meds and try to lay it down and hopefully be going night. So I want to see the Sandman in a minute. But thank y'all. Have a good night.
You too.
All right. Peace, y'all. And that's the end of that, everybody. Thank you guys for watching. And like I said, be back next Thursday at 6:00. I'm not going to say sharp because it could be a couple minutes before that, could be a couple minutes after that. But next week's going to be an amazing show as well. Thank you all for watching. And see you then. Have a very wonderful night. Keep pressing forward and stay safe.